Dr. Foster, the most shocking TV series ever? Dr. Phineas Casebook was nothing like this, and if Mary, the GPS wife in Mrs. Dale's diary on the dear old Radio-like program, was often rather worried about Jim just because he looked tired or a bit peaky, she'd be absolutely beside herself about Gemma. Well, we all are, aren't we? But nothing like as beside herself as Jem is. First things first, the doctoring. People are always complaining about GPs nowadays, how difficult it is to get an appointment and all that. Well, spare a thought for the people of Parminster, where Dr. Gemma Foster is head of a GP practice. You wouldn't even want an appointment with her, well, at least not for medical reasons. In any case, she hasn't been near the surgery lately. Her last bit of serious doctoring was at the end of the first series a couple of years ago. She saved a man in the street when he had heart failure. Since then she has spent most of her time trying to give men heart failure, not just her cheating husband and the soppy teacher from her son's school, but millions of men sitting minding their business in front of their television at home. And maybe millions of women too. Before Tuesday's episode, the BBC announcer primly warned us that it had sexual content. Mrs. The opposite of a spoiler. If you know anything about her, you know it's going to be with her hated divorced husband, and it's guaranteed to be something you probably shouldn't try at home. In this particular case, it was ripping off her own clothes down to her sexy black underwear and seducing him into making a meal of it in the kitchen, with a hidden camera phone recording it all so she could show his new young wife, followed by the full 4 courses on the dining room table, with both of them ending up naked. We know that their poor, confused, terribly distressed teenage son Tom is in the house, supposedly safely in his room. Certainly my first thought, and probably yours, was what happens if he comes in ? As it turns out, he didn't need to come in. He heard everything through the wall. Jem isn't Maria Sharapova, but she isn't noiseless either. This was indeed shocking stuff, not so much the naked flesh, we have become used to that. It's the emotional savagery and the feeling that Jem is capable of almost anything. Dr. Foster is compelling because sex is at the core of it, but mostly because it's terrifying. What's she going to do next? She is unhinged. She is a she-wolf, and, played by Suranne Jones, she is as irresistible to me as she is to her horrible ex-husband Simon. If media reports are to be believed, television audiences are pathetically susceptible to anything even vaguely sexy. Aidan Turner takes his floppy shirt off in Poldark and a nation swoons. Colin Firth, emerging from a lake in a wet shirt, is said to have brought on fits of the vapors. Daniel Craig emerging from the ocean in his bathers is $1 trillion free zone. And then there's the outrage. Did Captain Ross rape Elizabeth in Poldark, or was it consensual? Much debate. Same old, same old. What is different and disorientating about Dr. Foster is partly that she is feral and sexually voracious, but mostly that she is a woman, and we haven't seen a woman like that before. If a man had done to her what she did to her husband in the kitchen on Tuesday, there would have been the old debate we have heard so many times. Is it right to trivialize sexual aggression? Didn't it come dangerously close to rape? Certainly we have become used to powerful sexually driven women on television, Queen Victoria for one, but have we ever seen a woman as dangerous, sexy and transgressive as Gemma? I think not. She isn't going to kill anybody, at least I hope she isn't, but apart from that, she is as scary as can be. Mike Bartlett, who wrote Dr. Foster, also wrote King Charles III, a modern play about the current Prince of Wales, but written in verse like a Shakespeare history play. He's very familiar with savage 17th century English revenge dramas. It's not just an aside that in an early episode she quoted William Congreve's lines, "Heaven has no rage like love to hatred turned, nor hell a fury like a woman scorned." Not for Gemma. The Alicia Florrick route in the American series The Good Wife. Throw yourself into your career and a terrific wardrobe. Alicia's legal career became stellar. Gemma's medical career has been sidelined by her age. She was once a good wife. She's an extremely bad ex-wife. These days evil has become a television stock in trade. Did you see The Fall, a story of a sexually rapacious psychopath made all too watchable by the mesmerizing presence of Gillian Anderson as the weird, sexy police chief DSI Stella Gibson? Psychopath rapists are not generally attractive, personable types in TV drama, but Jamie Dornan as Paul Spector, later to star as Christian Grey in 50 Shades, certainly was. That made The Fall extra disturbing. It also contained television's sexiest ever lesbian kiss between Gillian Anderson and Archie Punjabi, though Punjabi pulls back from going to bed with her. I can tell. I was brought up in Croydon, she says. What's that supposed to mean? Asks Anderson. Good question. Gemma Foster clearly wasn't brought up in Croydon. She can do anything. It's worth saying that Archie Punjabi brings more sexual tension to a role than anyone I can think of. Dr. Foster is not seductive in that way. She is desperate and predatory. Since she seems capable of everything, there have been moments when I thought her ferocious inner lesbian might emerge. But that may just be me. That's what Dr. Foster does to me. You might have thought it was good to be brought up in the beautiful small West Yorkshire town Hebden Bridge, if you've never watched BBC One's Happy Valley. Was there ever a less happy valley? You certainly wouldn't have wanted to go to school there, overseen by Frances Drummond, the beyond creepy teacher's assistant played by the brilliant Shirley Henderson. Besotted with an imprisoned murder, quietly thinking evil thoughts, she was as disturbing as any of the noisier types we've seen, male, female or extraterrestrial. 4 decades ago the country was transfixed in ecstatic outrage by the series Bouquet of Barbed Wire, where a father was lusting after his daughter and the mother was having an affair with her son-in-law, who was also having violent sex with his own wife. Television critic Clive James wrote, by the end everyone had been to bed with everyone else except the baby. This sort of complex geometry probably wouldn't shock us now. 50 Shades is full of sexual geometry and we think it as mostly just silly fun? Dr. Foster is not fun? It would be shocking even if there wasn't a son being torn apart by these worrying parents, both of whom you'd be wise to avoid. But let Gemma Foster into your sitting room and she's unavoidable. There are only 2 more episodes, thank goodness. Lie back and pass the defibrillator.